Right, so currently I'm having issues with getting my DR650 to start up. I've already looked into a couple of different issues that it could be. So if I turn the key on, lights work, that works. But if I push the starter, all I get is a click, click, click. Now, one of the main reasons that could be the case is if my battery is flat. So if I just pop off, should not even need to pop those off. If I check my bike battery, wrong way, it reads 12.7 volts. Okay, which is more than enough. Now, if I get the key on with the probe still there, also if your battery overnight is dropping below 12.7, you have a charging issue. If I turn the key on and I crank the bike, doesn't drop below 11 volts, which tells me the battery is healthy and is able to crank. It is also less than a year old, so I trust it, especially because the old Motobet battery I had in here lasted about 8 years. Next thing I'm going to check is the relay. Take the relay cover off. Everything on my bike could use a good clean. This relay is a 4-pin relay. That doesn't matter. The wire coming off here, and so that's an open loop, which is supposed to be the case. Turn my bike on, so there's juice. That's very odd. Right, so I'm going to do something that I tell people not to do, which is jumping the relay. Take a screwdriver and I am getting nothing. I wasn't really expecting it to be a relay problem because these rarely fail. I was expecting it to be a starter issue. You know what I will do? While I have this out, I'll give these a good scrubbing with a bit of sandpaper. Put a little bit of dielectric grease before I assemble. It's just some 400 grit sandpaper I have lying around. You can use whatever grit you want, preferably nothing too coarse. And you're not removing material, you're just making it clean. Okay, and since I do a fair bit of river fording and water crossings, just a tiny bit of dielectric grease helps. Only use dielectric grease on open connections like these, not on sealed connectors. Don't use them on sealed connectors. And you really don't need a lot, just need the tiniest amount. And these get torqued down to about that much. Right, so I've ran a bunch of tests. The relay is fine. I've checked for resistance with it on and off, and it's behaving as intended. There's 12 volts going straight to the starter when the starter button is held. The starter doesn't turn, which means the starter is dead. So that's where I gotta start looking into. Right, to pull the starter, normally you have to get rid of the exhaust, but I saw a video where you can pull it without doing that, so I'm gonna give it a go. You just have to yank the fuel line up here and down here, take out the starter. It's gonna, I don't have space in here to, with my hand in there, so I'll bring you guys back once I get there. Amazingly, the rumors are true. You can get the starter motor out of the its valley without removing the exhaust or the cam chain adjuster. Just have to remove the oil line completely, take the rear brake hose off and just yank it out. And just dangling here, and of course just loosen up the clutch cable so you've got a bit of wiggle room. It did have to come out in 2 pieces. You got to take out the backing. You can do that with taking out the 7mm screw, and then taking that out and then taking the rest of the body out. Okay, so I'm gonna try and test the starter. I've got my battery. I know this is a good battery. I'm gonna connect the starter directly to the battery and see if it spins at all. What I've got here is live is clamped onto the post on the starter. Ground is provided by the connecting it to the stud there, and then I've got the other live wire here, so I'm gonna attach that to the battery, and if it spins, awesome. If it doesn't, I need a new starter. Here's a moment of truth. Nothing. That was exciting. That was a great way to tell you that nothing is happening. So I did have a look. I'm just gonna measure the voltage here. Yeah, 12.6, 12.8. Yeah, nothing flowing there. No voltage drop, which means it's not accepting any current. Alright, got the new motor in. Just arrived from Aussie. No, just because of the way I took it out without removing the pipe or the cam chain tensioner, I think I might have to try and putting it in disassembled, so I'm not pulling at the CTC again. Well, not again, I'm not pulling at the CTC. Put on some gloves because I have an open wound on that hand because I'm a nail biter. This camera mount is a lot more wobblier than I thought. Get out. I just want to get in there. Make sure nothing's falling in. It should be pretty interesting trying to get it in there to mesh properly. Oh man, I feel like it's just about to go in. But I think it's not going to go in with these caps, this cap in the way. So I'm just going to quickly mark it. Place it in there, push it in. There we go. It's in now. I'm just gonna inspect that nothing, none of the springs popped out or anything. This is a bit of a worry. It's not a good way to seat this ring on the cap as you push it on, so I think I'm gonna have to do this first. In that case, I'm gonna give it a liberal coating of silicone paste, just so it will stick and, you know, attract all the dirt at once. Who knows what rings dream of these days, you know? There's plenty of grease in there. You really shouldn't need more than that. Should be just gonna finagle this in because I managed to do it coming out, which means I can do it going in. Wow. Quite the process, but I think I can drive it home with a bolt or two. We'll just use a bolt at least to sort of hold it in place while I get everything lined up and pushed in. Just use a low bar of aluminium to drive the plate in. Hopefully that's enough and it's aligned well enough. Nope, that's still gonna turn on its own. Which means I have to try and get a bolt into a belly. I do not. I believe I'd have to violate the law of physics if I'm gonna do that. Well, just really. I need to drive that motor back out so I can twist and turn it while I assemble it in the frame. I believe it's percussive maintenance time. It's a good seal. I mean, it's not wanting to come out. Let's see if we can get the other bolt in now by only somewhat violating the laws of physics. Holy, this side of the ring hasn't gone in at all. Oh no, I broke the fucking... Oh. Broke the goddamn ring. It's worse than a broken fucking condom. Seriously. Jesus. Leaking around here. Okay, now I can't get the sumbitch to get back in there. I'm gonna take the other side panel off. That's, should have done that in the first place. This was a ridiculous idea. I'd be done with it by now if I just did that in the first place. I feel like I should be able to get this in there without taking the cap off. boy. Come back here. Okay. I don't know if I fucked something up, because now this is turning by itself. Oh no. I didn't mess it up, did I? I'll go salvage a new ring from the old motor. Alright, attempt number 2. I get that in there. And slider, and I'm going to take that off. I'm going to leave that in there. I betcha. It's so close to going in, like... Right, holy hell, I managed to get it in there. I needed 3 sizes smaller hand, all things considered. Oh my god, that was an absolute bear. Now I'm just getting the clutch cable back into its position. I'll tell you how I got this in. So, you have to take the back cap off, sneak the main body and the front cap inside while keeping the seals in place, put the back cap on, put that screw in, and then back the whole motor off backwards so you can twist it to put the other screw in, and then screw them both in, and then get it back on. Holy, that was... I consider most of that honestly bad design choices here. If that earlobe was about 40 degrees off on that side, you'd be able to get this in, because it would just go right past the cam chain tensioner. Or if the oh, come on, get out of there, you little shit. Slide it over. Or if that motor was about 5 mils shorter, this would have been such an easy job. Like, I'd be able to do it with my bloody eyes closed. Is that in? No, I gotta bring it forward even a bit more. I might have to loosen the clutch bracket just to get it off. Oh no! The socket is stuck. Come on. Yep, there we go. I just want to loosen the other one. I can't actually see anything from that angle. Good, there should be enough play on there to get that into the correct position, I think. There we go, okay. The clutch works, okay. Tighten everything back down. I use the world's weakest rattle gun, 12 volt. That way I'm never gonna strip anything. I always go back and hand tighten to factory spec. With my calibrated torque wrench. See? Click. And there we go. Alright. Now she's in there. I need to get this bolt in so the clutch cable doesn't go anywhere. Should be a 10 mil. 10 mil. You don't have to go mega strong on this one. This is actually just holding it in the spline, so it doesn't move up and down. I might have to take the clutch cable off again if I to reroute the oil lines, but I'll see. See if this is enough. Just pushing the rear brake hose back into this little bracket, wire bracket, whatever you want to call it. Holy, that is not wanting to go back in. How am I gonna do this? So I gotta get this in there, which means I've gotta bring this up. Jam that sumbitch in there. And don't use a hammer. Even on a hydraulic line. Yeah, that's, see? So, when in doubt, do not use a hammer. That's a bad idea. And what's this cable? That can be tucked behind. That goes over there. No. Zoom. Click. I'm missing something. Missing the little retaining cap. Consider this a mystery because I don't know where I put it. It's a little thing that goes over this. It's like a little washer at the same time. I'll just put these back for the time being. Okay, this thing. Where did I put it? Oh. Well, I'll be damned. I put everything off from this project in one spot and I can't find it. Mate, where's it gone, bud? Fuck's sakes. Have a good look around, eh? Oh yeah, here we go. That wasn't a hard find, I was just blind. Having a good man look, eh? Alright, so the dogger goes over there, goes in like so. Make sure that you're not rubbing into a line behind it or something. Zip it in, zip zip. And torque it to the factory specified click. Okay, now that's on. I'm gonna get the oil lines back on. This should be interesting. This was an absolute bugger to get out. So, alright, this is not a good start. I don't believe it went like this. Or did it go like this? Yeah, like that. Yeah, that looks more like it. Oh yeah, there we go. Do love these oil lines. They just kind of fall right into place. As we all know, the crush washers are reusable. They're technically not, but everybody reuses them, so do I. So therefore I will, again, reuse the crush washers. Just remember that you should have a crush washer on both sides of the banjo fitting, not just on one side. See? One on that side, one on this side. Yeah, one under that bolt and one's on the other side right there. Maybe I put it wrong. I think I did. Right, that's going in nicely. The one on the bottom doesn't really go in very neatly. Give it a bit of a wiggle. Ah, come on, mate. Yeah, there she goes. Right, the one on the bottom's going in nicely. It's fully seated. One on the top's fully seated now. It is now. I believe those are 17? Yeah, I'll give it a tight. I'm not making these good and tight yet. That's 13. That's a 12. Right, that's my 12 there. Oh, bugger. I love how it's never where you want it, eh? Alright, so I've got my manual right here, and this is right there, right after the part where we ignored that and get an oil leak and have to do it anyway in about 2 weeks time. It says figure 8, which is that bolt. Oops. Rage ya. Make it a bit higher. What have you been looking at, eh? That bolt, it says, is 23 Newton meters. I use an actual torque wrench this time instead of my usual torque wrench, and I'll set that to 23. So that's a 20 right now. 20 straight. That's a 17 mil. Not being a spot of bother, eh? I don't actually have a 17 mil socket, I think. So I'm gonna tighten this one and see how it feels, and then tighten the other one accordingly. Is that a bad idea, and do I hate it? Yeah. Have a better idea? Absolutely not. Also, I can't get to that one with anything I have. Okay. Guess I'm going to tighten the other one to 12 millimeters and see how that feels. Such a bad idea. Actually very specific about, like how I maintain my engine usually, but I need this back in action tomorrow. So I'm gonna call that good enough, and hopefully that is good enough. Generally speaking, the torque specs in the book are at the extent of a normal sized wrench on the edge, and until you use about 2 fingers and can go no further without putting too much muscle into it. I know that's not very scientific, but you've got to piss with the cock you got, eh? And that's what I've got. This is the sort of improvised wrench I've made for tightening this nut on top of the starter body, because you're meant to use a little wrench to hold the nut underneath and tighten the nut on top. And those are both 10 mils. And of course I can't get a good angle on those. You sure that's a 10 mil? Yeah, right, that's a 10 mil. You sort of need 3 hands for this job, eh? Hold on. Got quite a few different things to button up here before I call this quits. So I'll speed this along a bit. Yeah, okay, that's not going anywhere. There we go, boots on. I'm going to put on that little bracket. Make sure you can't see this. This little bracket to hold the cables and stuff. It is actually indexed, there's a little arrow under